Hey, what's going on, guys? My name's Plinko, and today I put together a little tutorial for anyone looking to complete the Shangri-La main Easter egg. You actually will get a achievement or trophy with this and perma perks for one player for completing this on Zombies Chronicles Black Ops 3. So before we get into this, I do want to note that you will need 4 players for this Easter egg, and these 4 players are going to want to communicate. You're going to have to communicate with these players for a lot of these steps, so mics are strongly recommended. So now that we have made that pretty clear, let's jump into this. The first step is going to be turning the power on. There's actually 2 power switches, but they're right next to each other down in the basement. I did not go over that in this guide, just for time's sake, because this is a pretty long Easter egg. So once you get the power on, you want to make your way back to spawn area, and you will see these 4 circle discs right next to the quick revive machine. You want all 4 players to hit those buttons at the same time, which will make you enter Eclipse Mode, and you're going to want to be in Eclipse Mode for most of the steps of this Easter egg, so keep that in mind as well. I will keep reminding you. Then you want to send 2 players, one to the minecart entrance and one over by the rope bridge, and what you're gonna want to do is match these stones on the ground, and here are all 12 of these symbols that will appear on these stones. But there's going to be a set of 12 stones over by the rope bridge and a set of 12 stones over by the minecart entrance. Once you have hit that button to start this step, you want the player on the minecart side to step on a stone, any stone, and just describe the symbol on that stone to the player over by the rope bridge. Then the player by the rope bridges is going to step on all of his stones until he finds that symbol, and then he's going to communicate to the player by the minecart entrance that he has indeed found that symbol and he is ready to clear that tile. So then the player by the minecart can step on that stone again, and you want to make sure both of you are stepping on the stone at the same time. Now this can be hard because if one player is stepping on a stone and then another player hits a stone with a different symbol on it, this will reset this whole thing and you'll have to restart this. So that's why this is a little more complicated than it needs to be, I feel like, but just make sure the player by the minecart entrance steps on the stone, describes the symbol, and then steps off the stone while the player by the rope bridge is able to find that symbol on his stones before the player by the minecart steps back on his stone, so y'all can clear that stone. And you have to do this 12 times for each of the 12 symbols. Here's what we call the symbols. Hope this helps you guys. Feel free to pause this if you want to use this for a little guide for the names of the symbols and what they look like. Make sure you can get them all the first time around. But once you get used to this, this is not really that hard of a step. Just kind of a little tedious to get done. But so match the stones on the ground, and again there's one set by the rope bridge area and another set by the minecart entrance area. Both players need to step on the matching symbol / stones at the same time to clear this. So once you have done this, you want to make sure you are still in Eclipse Mode. If you are not in Eclipse Mode, you want to go back to spawn and just count down on those 4 circle discs on the wall next to quick revive and go back into Eclipse Mode, because like I said, you need to be in Eclipse Mode for all of these steps in this Easter egg. So now for the third step, you want to come over here by this water slide, and all 4 players want to go down the water slide. This is going to be over by the rope bridge area, and just send all 4 players down the water slide and stand on this metal grate at the bottom of the water slide. Just stand here. Wherever you land from the water slide should be good. Just make sure all 4 players are here, and this does take a few seconds to activate, but once activated, your screen will start shaking and you'll get like a little audio cue letting you know that you have completed this step. So once all players went down the water slide and you stand on the metal grate at the bottom of the slide, this will trigger an audio clip and cause the crystal to spawn above the water slide entrance. This will enable you to do the next step. What you also are going to need for the next step is a shrink ray gun, or the baby maker as some people are calling it, and this is only available out of the mystery box. So the fire sale gobblegum is super helpful right here if you have one. If not, no big deal, just run a couple rounds, save some money up, and try to get someone getting the baby maker or the shrink ray gun. This is going to be needed for this next step. So what you have to do for this next step is you have to make your way back over to that crystal that you just triggered to spawn, and you have to throw some kind of explosive at it to knock it off of the wall. It's going to be sitting up on a ledge right above the water slide. I'll show you that in just a moment, but again, make sure you are in Eclipse mode for each and every one of these steps of the Easter egg. This is going to be probably the most annoying part of this Easter egg. It wouldn't be nearly as hard if you didn't have to be in this Eclipse mode for every one of these steps. But, so back into Eclipse mode, make your way back over to the water slide, get the player with the shrink gun ready, or the shrink ray gun ready, and have someone throw a grenade at this crystal sitting above the water slide. It's pretty obvious up here, it's pretty big white crystal, or just throw a grenade at it, or the ray gun. You can actually shoot it down with a ray gun as well. But once you have done that, get the player with the shrink ray gun to shoot this crystal, and it will shrink the crystal, and then just have anyone in your party melee the crystal, and it will knock it down the water slide, and you just want to follow it down the water slide. What you want to do is follow this ball because it's going to land in this little water spout over here, and the crystal will not move unless someone is standing on that water spout. So to complete this step, you do have to be standing on that water spout. I just recommend following it around, and it will launch it up into this area where it needs to be, which will be it'll be glowing red when it is in its final location. Alright, so moving on to the next step. For this step, you're going to have to get a Napalm Zombie, which looks just like this. He walks real slow, he's glowing red. When he gets close to you, your screen will kind of light on fire, but if you do get too close to him, he will blow up and die, and you need to keep this guy alive to complete this step. So this is probably one of the most annoying steps in this Easter egg, but so what you want to do is once you find the Napalm Zombie, you want all 4 players to make their way back to the center, because you're going to have to go back into Eclipse mode once you find this guy. And because Eclipse mode is timed, you have to kind of be pretty sneaky about this. So you know, kill all the rest of the zombies on the map if possible. And what we did was we just kind of were holding off on one side of the spawn area so he didn't spawn in the spawn area. Which helps a little bit so you can get into spawn and get into Eclipse mode. But once you are into Eclipse mode, you have to come over here and take this zombie, the Napalm Zombie, through the path that I'm showing you now. And before you do that, you want to turn that knob 4 times, which will turn the gas on. And if you can see, the gas is actually leaking in 4 different places. There'll be like pipes shooting out bursts of gas. What you want to do is walk him through those bursts of gas, which will light those bursts of gas on fire. There's 4 of them. I'll show you where all 4 of them are in just a moment. But you want to run him from the spawn area towards the power room. And once you get all 4 of these gas leaks lit up on fire, you have to make your way back to where you turned the valve 4 times. There will actually be a lever right next to that valve, and you want to pull that lever. So here are the 4 locations of the flames you should see after walking the Napalm Zombie through the gas. So those are 3 of them. There's also one to the right of this lever that I'm about to pull, but this is the lever you want to pull once you have completed this step. I hope this makes sense to you guys. It's the easiest way I know to explain it. It can be a pain in the ass. Like I said, just make sure you hold that Napalm Zombie and get that done. Now for this next step, you are going to need Tripmines. So everybody wants to get Tripmines, or they used to be called Spike Moors. They're located in the power room, but in DLC 5 they are called Tripmines. Once everyone has Tripmines, you want to head towards the tunnel near the waterfall, and you're going to see these 4 holes in the wall. 3 of them are actually glowing blue, and you'll see these holes pretty easily. But there's one towards the bottom of the tunnel that's not glowing blue. It's kind of harder to see. And what you're going to want to do is set these Tripmines up to where when they are triggered by a zombie, they will actually plug those holes in the tunnel. So there's 4 holes in this tunnel that you want to plug. So just set these Tripmines up right across from the holes as best as you can. And here's the hole at the very bottom, which is not glowing. So there are 4 total. I'll show you right here. Make sure you get Tripmines on all 4 of those holes. You may not get all 4 of them plugged the first time around, but you can just every round you get 2 more Tripmines, or you may even be able to go buy more if you don't have any more left. They're pretty cheap, and just like I said, set them right across from these holes. And once you have a round with some zombies, you want to run these zombies through this tunnel, and it will activate the Tripmines, and these Tripmines will shoot out and actually plug these holes. That is the goal. Not too hard. One thing I do want to note, just a reminder, you do have to be in Eclipse Mode for this step as well. You have to be in Eclipse Mode for every one of these steps where you are activating anything. So, back into Eclipse Mode, start the round, and come back down here, and you just want to guide a couple zombies through here to make these Tripmines go off. And as you can see, they'll just kind of shoot out, and what they do is they just shoot, they kind of shoot spikes out in a burst, and you're just hoping that one of these spikes will land in one of these holes and actually plug the hole. So that was a pretty good representation right there, and as you can see, you'll see the bottom of the Tripmine plugging the holes. So there again, plugged hole. That one is good to go, plugged hole. And this one does not look like it has a plug in it, so we're going to try to put some more Tripmines on this one. And again, this one is pretty hard to see, but not too hard, not too hard. Just make sure you have those Tripmines. So, all right, there we go. It's plugged. So all 4 of them are plugged. Once they're all 4 plugged, you want to make your way down to this waterfall area, and you have to push this brick in on the wall right here in front of Mule Kick, the Mule Kick machine right there, right across from that. You'll see the brick on the wall. Just push that in right here under the waterfall. So once you've done this, you've completed the step, and you can continue on to the next step, which is going to be to melee the 12 stone plates around the map with light glyphs on them. So you want to be in Eclipse Mode once again. Just go back to spawn, start the Eclipse Mode, and then you're going to be looking for tiles like this on the wall. And when you melee them, they will light up with the symbol. So I'm going to show you where all 12 locations are right now around the map. There's actually 5 in the spawn area right here. I'm going to show you that. There's one right here by the Pack-a-Punch area, and then the next 2 are over here by this gong on the other side of the Quick Revive machine. And then next, I'm going to show you the 2 near the mud pit and near the rope bridge area next to spawn. So you make your way through the mud pit, straight through, and to the right, you'll see one on the wall right there. And then if you go left through the mud pit, you'll see one on that side of the mud pit as well. And now there's also 3 located downstairs. There's the first one right near the entrance, and then here's the other one next to Widow's Wine, and the last one is going to be in the power room right next to the power switches right there. And the last 2 are actually going to be located over by the minecart entrance next to spawn on the other side of Quick Revive. And here's the last one right here. You can barely see it, it's not lit up, but it is on the wall right there. So after you have meleeed all 12 plates, you want to throw a grenade over here across from the minecart entrance, and you will see like a little stick TP. You want to throw a grenade at that, and the stick TP will disappear if you have done this correctly. So now what you want to do is open up Pack-a-Punch, and here are the 4 locations you're going to need to open Pack-a-Punch. There are 4 stones you have to stand on, or pressure plates, that each character must find a different one. There's one in the spawn area, there's one in the tunnel to power, there's one by the rope bridge, and there is one in the power room. Once all 4 players stand on those at the same time, this will open up this area right here, which is the Pack-a-Punch location. The person with the baby maker, or the shrink ray gun, as some call it, want to make this way up to the Pack-a-Punch and get that thing Pack-a-Punched for the next couple of steps, because that thing will be needed in the future going forward in this Easter egg. So, Pack-a-Punch the baby maker, and then you'll be able to move to the next steps. So again, make sure you are in the Eclipse Mode. So everybody back to spawn, get back into Eclipse Mode, and you want to make your way over to the mud pit, and there are going to be 4 discs inside the mud pit that you have to turn to certain symbols. So here is a little chart right here, and that lets you know which symbols you will need. You're going to need each one of those symbols on the top of the disc you're turning. So these, you'll see like the 2 towards the rope bridge, you want to have on those 2 symbols right there, and then the 2 towards the starting room, you want to have on those symbols. I hope this chart helps you out. Again, feel free to pause this video if you're going to need that chart as a little guide to help you guys through this step. So once you get all 4 symbols on, or all 4 discs on those symbols, you are ready to move on to the next step, which is going to be melee the 4 correct gongs around the map. And again, you have to be in Eclipse Mode, so I'm going to show you where these gongs are right now. There are actually 8 gongs total, and you want to find the 4 that don't make that crystal light up red when you melee it. See how that's lit up red? That means that gong is not one of the good gongs. You have to find the 4 gongs that don't make that crystal light up red. So here are where all the gongs are. You want to keep someone in spawn just watching that crystal to see if it lights up, and then you want to have 1 or 2 players go around and find these 8 gongs. And once you find the 4 gongs that don't make the crystal light up red, you want to melee those 4, the 4 that don't make the crystal turn red. You want to melee those 4 in order, and that will make the gongs, or the crystals light up yellow, like super bright, with like little patterns around them. You'll be able to see it pretty easily, but I'm showing you where all the gongs are right now, and I'm just showing you this took us a little bit of time, but again, not too bad at all. But once you get all 4 of the correct gongs meleeed, you will see this right here, and you will get this little, it's funny, it's almost like a little Treyarch symbol spinning around these crystals. So you want to find the crystal with dynamite tied to it. So what you have to do is find the crystal. For us, and I think pretty much every time it's going to be this one right here, and if you look up, you can actually see dynamite is tied right underneath that crystal. So you want to get the person with the pack-a-punched baby maker to come over here and shoot that crystal, and have someone over there ready to catch the dynamite when it knocks the dynamite off. So you melee the 4 correct gongs, get the person with the baby maker, upgraded baby maker, to shoot that crystal right there, and then have someone catch the dynamite. You have to do all of this in one Eclipse mode. So if you don't get it done in one Eclipse mode, you will probably have to do the gongs all over again and do all that again. Not too hard though, not too hard. So the next step is going to be to shoot that crystal right above the mud pit, which will shrink the meteor as you just saw right there, and you were almost ready to complete this Easter egg. So what this did was it shrunk the meteor that fell inside of this machine, and it got rid of the pack-a-punch machine. There are actually 4 characters behind this wall, and they're gonna ask you to hand them the dynamite to get them out of there. So you hand them the dynamite, and we actually ran out of time in our pack-a-punch. Like when you turn pack-a-punch on, it is timed, and those stairs will let the water fall down after a certain amount of time. So we had to go back into Eclipse mode, but sometimes you might be able to get that done in one Eclipse mode. So just go back into the pack-a-punch, or open the pack-a-punch area one more time, and you will see this this little shrunken meteor, and you can actually pick this up, and whoever picks it up, it will give you all the perma perks except for Electric Cherry, I believe, because I don't think they had Electric Cherry when this map was around, I guess. So you will get perma perks for whoever picks that up, and you will get the achievement completed for this map once you get this done. And that is pretty much it, guys. Once you get this done, you will be so relieved, because it is such a pain in the ass. You will find a radio on the ground right at the bottom of Pack-a-Punch when you do complete this Easter egg, and again, perma perks. So I hope this helped you out, guys. If it did, make sure you drop a like on the video, subscribe to my channel for more zombies content, and I will catch you guys on the next one.